So today I'm going to be talking you through the Year 6 reading assessment, talking you through the mark scheme and the questions that you answered. First of all, key points for everybody is 1 mark, 1 brief answer, so it could just be a couple of words. 2 marks, 2 answers, or sometimes it will be 1 answer, plus you need to give evidence from the text. 3 marks will be 3 answers and evidence, so you need to do quite a lot to be able to get the full 3 marks on a 3-mark question. Right, so you should have your answer paper in front of you and your green pen ready to add in answers that you were initially unsure about and check what you've written according to the mark scheme. So first of all, the first question asks you, how many people are estimated to be going jogging at least once a week? Answer is 6 million people. Number 2, you had to use the information from the beginner's guide and find and copy the right amount of times. So the right amount were 5 minutes, 10 to 30 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, and 5 to 10 minutes. And you get 2 marks if you got all of those correct. Number 3, so the word gradually means slowly or a little bit at a time. Number 4, you needed to tick set yourself regular targets, run with a friend or group, keep a training log, and mix up routes and distances. It does tell you to tick 4, so make sure you do tick 4. And if you're not sure on this kind of question, this is the sort of one where you need to just have a good guess. On to question 5. You only need to put 1 of these points to get the 1 mark. Quite a lot of you put all of these. So in a real test, remember this is a waste of time. If it says 1 mark, you just need to write 1 thing. So you could have had route, distance, time, or how you felt. Next, looking at question 6, most of you got this fine. So track running is on a track, road running is on a road, and then cross-country run is the one in the woodlands and the hills. Most of you fine on that question. It is helpful if you use a ruler, it just makes it nice and clear for the person who's marking your test which one is meant to go with which one. On to number 7, it says the word safely because it's about road running and roads can be dangerous, such as for things like cars. So if you said something about that, then you will have got the mark. Number 8, 1 right answer, is 13.1 miles. Number 9, explaining about the running shoes. So there's 3 possible options, you just had to write 1 of them. So it could reduce the risk of injury, avoid slipping and sliding, and reduce the shock that travels up your leg. So any one of those will have got you the mark. On to question 10. So as you're running advances, you could either get a digital sports watch or a heart rate monitor. So if you put technical sports fabric, this won't actually get you the mark. Might have given you some of the mark for that one by accident, so double check that one. Number 11, running for kids. Most of you got this one. It's to try and make it fun, so it's an enjoyable activity. Right, number 12, this is a lot of people made a mistake on this one. So a word that means providing satisfaction or offering a worthwhile experience, and the word that you were looking for was not enjoyable, as a lot of you thought, but was actually rewarding. So enjoyable just means fun, whereas rewarding means that it's also a worthwhile experience. So you needed the word rewarding there. Question number 13 also posed quite a challenge for a few of you. So you needed to give any two of these, and it is being rather specific. So either that it's free, that you can do it anywhere, that it's healthy, that it's an exciting challenge, that you don't need much equipment, and that it can be rewarding without competition. Question 14 was about 50-50 on whether people got this right. So it says, how is it aimed at people who aren't already regular runners? So you could say something like, it's a beginner's guide. It gives advice by starting by just walking. It says things such as if you've never been a runner, and it gives guidance on the equipment required to get started. So any of those would have got you the 1 mark. And on to the poems. The poem was called Leisure. This was probably one of the poorer sections answered. I think there was quite a lot of vocabulary involved in understanding this poem. And if you didn't really understand the word leisure, that confused a few people as well. So we'll go through the answers. So the animals that were mentioned were sheep, cows and squirrels. Boughs is the branches of a tree. Number 17, this one was very tricky. It says that the repeated phrase "no time," why is that there at the start of lots of why is that there at the start of lots of lines? So the correct answer is to emphasize the author's suggestion of a lack of time, that people are too busy. So it's the author saying it over and over again to make it really clear that people don't have much time and that they are very, very busy. Number 18, streams full of stars. You were allowed 2 possible ones, either that the streams were reflecting the sunlight and that this was sparkling like stars, or the poet was comparing the stream in the daytime to the stars at night. So something like that. Number 19 was quite poorly answered. So occupied with worry, this was full of care. So care, you might have thought it means like being caring, but it can also mean like your cares in the world, so the things that you care about and you worry about. Number 20, he did pretty well with this one. As it was a 1 mark question, if you put beauty as a name, then I've given you the mark. It might appear something like this as a 2 mark question, in which case you would need to use that key word, which is personification. So if you use the word personification, well done, that's what they were doing. They were referring to nature as a person and as beauty as a name. Number 21, most of you got this one. So the sheep and cows stand and stare, the squirrels hide nuts in grass, whereas beauty dance and smile. That's what that one goes with. Okay. Right, 22 and 23. First of all, 22, the message that the poet was trying to give the reader was you were allowed 3 marks for this one. So 3 marks, we need 3 quite detailed sentences which refer to the poem. So points about the fact that people are too busy, that in their busy lives they should make time to appreciate nature, and that life isn't as good or as meaningful if we don't make the time to enjoy our natural surroundings. The poem's all about stopping, appreciating nature, spending time outside instead of rushing around all the time and not noticing what's going on around you. 23. Right, I think a lot of you don't know what the word leisure means. So if you think of a leisure centre, that's somewhere where you would spend your free time where you are not working, where you're not at school or at work. So leisure is your free time. So the poem refers to views of nature that are usually only appreciated during free time rather than at work. And so the poet is saying that during our free time or leisure time, we should make much more time to appreciate nature. Rather than, say, staying in and playing video games, we should instead be outside appreciating nature. Okay, on to the story. Those of you that had read the story carefully got on pretty well with this. The questions weren't as tricky as some story questions have been. So if you understood the story, then you did well on this mostly. So, first of all, it says that you've got to find and copy phrases which suggest the destruction of the landscape. So you could have had any of these 2, that there's the ruins of the wood, smouldering in ashes, and that the trees lay forlorn on the forest floor. So we're talking about how the landscape has been destroyed. Number 25, the word that you're looking for is encountered, which means met unexpectedly. The word that means fathom is understand. Number 27, the gift question. This caused you some issues. So it says, some days he cursed the gift that his grandmother had given him. Not the gift of the box though, the gift she had passed down in some other way. So this is drawing a distinction between the physical gift of the box and some sort of other gift that is, that's maybe not a physical thing. So you had to get the idea that it's actually a power or an ability or a talent that Anders has inherited from his grandmother rather than a physical gift. On to the true or false, and I would always have a good guess if you get these multiple choice questions. So Anders was definitely annoyed, angry about the destruction of the woodland. That is true. Anders was hungry. Nope, he was not hungry. There was no mention of Anders being hungry. That's false. And finally, the last one, that the creature was angry and hungry. That one is true. In order, these are the events written in order. On your sheet, it should go 5, 1, 4, 2, 3. Number 30 was describing the weird creatures. So the squib was like a jellyfish, but it shuffled awkwardly on land, and the belcher is identified by its burping and gurgling sound. Number 31, you were just asked to describe the physical appearance, which means what it looks like, of the Klingonaut. So what does the Klingonaut look like? So you could say it's four-legged, that it's got a stegosaurus-like spine, dragon-like nostrils, an old-looking head with large pointed ears. So any two of those would get you 2 marks. So 32, what was the evidence that shows you that other creatures were not afraid of the Klingonauts? So it says creatures of other varied shapes and sizes wandered amongst them, unharmed and in no anticipation of danger. That's the phrase that you need. Number 33, tentatively, means that he's doing it slowly because he's a little bit worried, and he's watching the creature as he does it, so he's uncertain about it. Number 34, Anders was trying to create a distraction and do the tapping noise so that the creature would look away. Right, number 35, at the beginning he was feeling angry, he was fueled by rage and revenge. However, at the end of the extract, he started to calm down and plan out his actions more carefully. So he went from being angry to being calm and purposeful. And instead of trying to attack the creature, he was trying to distract it. So if you said some of these, then you will have got 2 points. And here we have a creative 3-mark question. So using evidence from the text, predict what has happened in the woods in the story and what Anders might do next. So a lot of you just did the bit about what you thought might happen next and left out the bit about what you thought had happened to the woods. So I'll read out one of the model answers and then see how close your answer was to this. So I'll read out the bottom one. The woodlands may have been destroyed by other people or enemies of the Klingonauts, as the text says that the Klingonauts had been roaming peacefully in pairs through the surroundings, eating the leaves and foliage from the branches. Anders may try to escape from the creature after distracting it. As it says, he knew this was his chance and he seized it. So something to look at is that it is using quotes from the text. So it's not just your own random opinion, you're using the quotes from the actual text to be really, really specific about how you know something and why you think something will happen. So you get 1 mark for predicting what had happened to the woodland, 1 mark for what Anders might do next, and 1 mark for using evidence. So to get 3 marks, you have to do all 3 things. Again, a lot of you weren't sure how to answer this question. So question 37 asked how Anders feels about his surroundings, so about where he is. How does he feel about the environment he's in? So you have these choices of feelings and you have to use the words from the actual text. So for example, he's angry because he's furious to see the destruction of the beautiful woodland. Confused, where he's trying to understand how these things were linked. Happy, when he says things like, this wonderful world has been revealed to him. Annoyed, some days he cursed the gift his grandmother had given to him. Privileged, and it actually says the word privilege, so you could have used that one as a feeling. Determined, when he focused all his energy onto the misty window. And that's it. So hopefully you found that helpful and you can now either go back, listen again and pause as you need to, or you may have been pausing as you went along to write in model answers of your own. Thank you.